Outfits.
You are special and one of a kind, and that's why whether it's voice, data or SMS, you get to enjoy personalized offers tailored to your specific needs with MTN just for you. Dial *141# or select your options on the My MTN app to redeem your unique just for you package on Ghana's best mobile network. MTN.
Live on Joy 99.7 FM, this is the Midday News. The news is also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Kekeli Radio in Ho, A1 Radio in Dreams FM in Bogatanga, Pad FM in Dalmango. We are on Radio Justice in Tamale, Castle FM and ATL FM in Cape Coast. We are also live on X Spaces. We are on Facebook. We are on myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDP pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with the level indicator. Where Duraplus goes, water flows. This afternoon, Peace Council pushes for collaboration with the IGP and regional security councils to address recent conflicts in Nkwanta, Wenchike and Kintampo amidst 300 litigation cases and limited funding.
We must admit that sometimes the issue is above just the work of the council. Currently, we call on the IGP and the security services to intervene.
I'll take you to Parliament, where the Interior and Defence Ministers are expected to brief the Defence and Interior Committee on steps taken in the conflict areas. Also, Food and Beverages Association deems government's plan to restrict importation of some selected imported items unfortunate, unacceptable and wicked.
To come out with a document like this, seeking to restrict imports, the essentials of your people, staples of your people, is very unacceptable. It's some wickedness you want to unleash on the people.
We'll get to hear from an economics professor who fears the move may impose more hardship on Ghanaians if implemented poorly, but the trade minister is unmoved.
They call it the stomach of animals. And the country had to put an amount of about $164 million towards the importation into the country of these items. Now I found that rather revolting.
And also, NDC General Secretary Fififi Afikwete envisions a youthful candidate, potentially a woman from a swing region, as John Mahama's likely running mate.
You want to win as many women as possible, because once you have the women on your side, trust me, you are home. So you want to make sure you are appealing to women.
Also, NPP faces potential sabotage ahead of the 2024 elections. Former stalwart Yabuabie Samoa discloses covert support for Alan Tremanting among thousands of bigwigs within the party.
There's so much time. We are just how many months away? You even thought that we had left just 2 days ago. So in the coming days, in the coming weeks, you will see what will happen.
We'll get to hear from the NPP, which says although the claim cannot be proven, it will use the party structures to fish out the mills and apply the appropriate action. We have sports.
Ghana Premier League side Bofakwata no sack head coach Frimpong Manson after just 4 months in charge.
And we'll get to hear from UK High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, as she focuses on corruption's impact on Ghana and urging swift action to address growing public concerns.
Corruption is one of the things that is holding Ghana back. It's not only a problem in Ghana, it's a problem in so many countries. If all of the money that comes into Ghana is used for the purpose for which it was intended, Ghana would be making faster progress.
And then the 14th edition of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair has kickstarted with a lot of excitement at the Accra International Conference Centre. Exhibitors are already looking forward to an amazing experience and discounted offers.
We've had lots of clients coming in to see our properties at Alphabet City. So the Joy News Habitat Fair is a good program that I will say other real estate or other building industries should also get involved.
These and more reasons why you ought to stay here on the Midday News. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Many thanks for your company. I am Emefa Apawu. In our very first story for this afternoon, the National Peace Council is counting on the police and the various regional security councils to help expedite investigations and mediation on conflicts in Nkwanta, Wenchike and Kintampo especially. According to the council, with about 300 litigation cases and funding difficulties, it is becoming increasingly difficult to deal with these problems. About 16 persons have been killed in the 3 conflict areas in the last 7 days alone. 13 in Nkwanta in the Oti region and 3 in Wenchike in the northeast region. The various security councils have boosted security presence to retain calm. In Nkwanta, business has been slow in the community following that curfew imposed. Adum News Obrimpong Owusu spoke to some residents.
Because of the curfew, like yesterday, how the tension came into town, we didn't come out. Yesterday, we didn't get any bread or any porridge to buy. But today, because of the curfew, you sleep 5 o'clock p.m. and wake up 6 o'clock a.m.
The curfew level, the tension, the pressure calm down. So we thank God. But if not, there's still pressure day.
Man, I own a provision shop. And looking at what has happened in Nkwanta now, I can say it has slowed down business. Not to talk about the school children. For now, we don't know their safety. But for now, they are closed down.
Security reasons, therefore, is good. But economically, it's not helping.
Meanwhile, security presence has been boosted in Wenchike in the northeast region after 3 persons were reportedly killed. The chief, Alhaji Abubakar Wenfo, who was also attacked, says the town is now calm.
When somebody makes me call, hey, chief, don't go, but they are make barrier waiting for you. I told the driver that because of me, they are make barrier. Let us turn back. Oh, when the driver will realize people are surrendered the car. Anywhere, soon, Catalan, Papa, will kill you. After we turn, they just to see gunshot. Yeah, security and town, military, the police, they are town, but they are camp of the school. They are camp of school. But the day that conflict, they know, really, soldiers, they did well. They're using the armor car. Then now they patrol the whole of the area.
Well, let me thankfully bring in the regional minister for Northeast Region, Idana Zakaria, on this latest on the Wenchike situation. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Midday News. I'm told RegSec is fully in charge of this particular situation, but what's your briefing on what exactly is happening in Wenchike?
Thank you for linking me up, and thank you to your listeners. And what I said was that, after the FP primaries, His Excellency, the Vice President, the next week. And so you were paying a courtesy call on the father, the Nayiri. And some of the chiefs in the region were also to join the Nayiri to welcome their son and give him the blessing. So Chief Buba left Wenchike to come for that meeting. And on the way, some people barricaded the road that they started at his vehicle. He had to make the U-turn. That wasn't enough for people. They followed up and
Mr. Zakaria, please, if you would kindly position yourself. It's very difficult following the conversation because we can hardly hear you. Let's try again, Mr. Zakaria.
I'm just trying to give the justice of what actually happened.
I just want you to reposition yourself because I keep losing you.
Can you hear me?
I'll try. I think it's much better.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that after the MP primaries, His Excellency Vice President came back to the Northeast to greet the father at the Nayiri. And by that, several other people were
I would kindly ask my producers to reconnect to Idana Zakari. Unfortunately, I can't hear, and I'm sure you can't hear as well. So we'll try and reconnect with him, and then we can get what exactly the situation is in Wenchike. Meanwhile, the Defence and Interior Ministers are before the Interior and Defence Committee in Parliament on clashes between the Mo and Wangara groups in the Kintampo North Municipality. Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent Kwekwa Sante is in Parliament for us, joins us with the very latest on this. So what have you been gleaning from the meeting?
Our understanding is that the meeting is currently happening. Both ministers did indeed appear before the Defence and Interior Committee and has been assuring the members that they are really on top of the situation. They've really picked valuable intel, and they really believe that if anything is expected to happen, they are on hand to forestall. But because of the very importance of these two ethnic groups at Kintampo, they do not want to take any preemptive actions that could actually increase the situation on the ground. And that is why they have not taken any steps now. But the information I'm getting from a member who is currently in the meeting is that the ministers have been assuring the committee that they are really on top of the issue. And if anything is to happen, they have men on the ground to forestall it.
Well, Kweku, stay with me. The other issues I'd like to tackle with you, we'll hear from also the chairman of the National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Ernest Edu-Jemfi, who is pushing for the IGP and Regional Security Council's collaboration. But let me try again and bring back Midana Zakari, is the regional minister. Thank you so much once again. So we had difficulties hearing you earlier, but let's talk about the current situation in Wenchike. We're told about 4 persons lost their lives amongst others. What's the current situation, you'd say?
Yes, I think you got it right. We lost 4 lives, 2 women and 2 men. The 2 women were not combatants. They were just caught in crossfire. And unfortunately, they passed on. 1 other person sustained gun shot injuries and is currently receiving treatment in Togo. You know, Togo is not far from the Tripoli district. A number of houses were torched, but the situation now is such that we are unable to do the count of the number of houses, and when that is done, we'll get back to you.
Okay. We have any number of arrests so far?
Hello.
Have you made any arrests on the part of RegSec? I'm asking.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Yidana. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay, it's just so difficult connecting to Mr. Yidana Zakari, but we can hear now from the chairman of the National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Ernest Edu-Jemfi.
Currently, we are dealing with about 300 chieftaincy, tribal, and land litigation issues across the country. Sometimes we act quietly, and so the public consistently accuses us that nothing is happening, even though we've been working. Now we think that there's a need to change our approach a little bit and sometimes be a little proactive in terms of some of the things that we're doing. In this particular case, all the cases that have been highlighted now, either at Kintampo in the Blue region, in Kwanta in the Oti region, and the Wanchiki in the northeast, the regional peace councils have been active in those areas, working constructively to help mitigate some of these things. But we must admit that sometimes the issue is above just the work of the council. Currently, we call on the IGP and the security services to intervene, and we are aware that there have been some interventions in some of those places. Calm has been restored in some places, but there's a need now for us to look at means to deal with the issues that are on hand.
That's Reverend Dr. Ernest Edu-Jemfi, chairman of the National Peace Council. Now, the Food and Beverages Association has described as unfortunate and wicked government plans to restrict the importation of some selected food and other items, including rice, fruit juice, and animal products. The list contained in the import bill currently before the Subsidiary Legislative Committee, when approved, will give the Trade and Industry Minister the power to decide on the quota of imports for these selected items. Trade and Industry Minister Katie Hammond justifies the decision by government to restrict the product's importation.
It's not, I guess when they look at the document, they would understand it. But it's about the importation of certain goods, certain produce into the country. You'll recall that during the time of my vetting, I did indicate that as a product like the stomach of animals, I don't know whether it's intestine or something, they call it the stomach of animals. And the country had to put an amount of about $164 million towards the importation into the country of these items. Now I found that rather revolting. I don't particularly understand why, items like this should be imported into the country.
Let's go through the list of items likely to be affected. My colleague Elton Broby joins me in studio. Let's go through it, Elton.
So, if according to the first schedule, there are 22 items that government is seeking to restrict its importation into the country. One is rice. Also, there's guts, bladder, and stomach of animals, also known as shagi or yamwadie.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and of course, you also have poultry products, animals and vegetable oil, margarine, fruit juice, soft drink, also mineral water, noodles and pasta, ceramic towels, also paper and paper products, and board mosquito coil and insecticide, soaps and detergents, motor cars, iron and steel, cement. We also have face sugar, clothing, apparel, biscuits, and canned tomatoes. So these are the 22 items that is found in the fair schedule seeking parliamentary approval, so the government can impose some restriction on this importation.
Okay, thank you, Elton. But what's the state of the constitutional instrument presented to Parliament? My colleague Kweku Asante is still with us on the line. Kweku, is the instrument before the House for consideration?
The regulation has not been laid as we speak. It is currently at the Subsidiary Legislation Committee. We know that the minister wanted to lay it earlier in the week, by the minority MPs scuttled that plan because they believed some of the items on the list are really far-reaching, and some of the instruments that have been included in this regulation will mean that government will have such a wide-ranging power to approve or disapprove the importation of these products, and they believe that they have to go through some considerable consultation before it is officially laid. Mind you, this is not a bill strictly speaking, it's a regulation. So if it is laid in 21 days, in 21 sitting days, I should say, it becomes law if 2/3 of all MPs do not vote to annul it. And that is why the minority are really concerned about it. As of now, it has not been laid, and KT Hammond is racing against time to do so, because very soon you will not get 21 sitting days in this meeting.
Okay, that's Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante there. Well, there's some reaction to the intent by government to restrict the importation of some of these selected items we've been going through. Chairman of the Food and Beverages Association, John Awuni, says the country is ill prepared for the rollout of this measure.
I am quite shocked and also quite disappointed that the executive will put together this document and send it to the people's representative to approve for implementation. I say so because we are dealing with a period where inflation is very high in the country. Prices of foodstuffs are very high in the country, whether locally produced or foreign. We are dealing with prices that are very high. As I speak, the price of a bag of rice at the retail end is about 700, 750 cedis depending on the quality. This is a period where one would have been looking at ways of reducing the prices to make things quite better for the people. But to come out with a document like this, seeking to restrict imports, the essentials of your people, staples of your people, is, I must say, is very unacceptable, and maybe, let me say, it's some wickedness you want to unleash on the people.
Chairman of the Food and Beverages Association, John Awuni. Now, Associate Professor with the University of Ghana Business School, Lord Mensah, doubts this plan can be implemented successfully.
If you go through the list, I mean, chunk of them are more or less agriculture related. And for the years that this administration has been in power, I mean, we all know the planting for food and jobs policy that was rolled out. And we're still having food inflation driving our inflation in this country. And you ask yourself if you should throw out a policy that will restrict importation of rice. I mean, at what percentage and at what point are you going to implement the policy? And if you're going to implement the policy, is it going to be a gradual process?
That's Dr. Lord Mensah there, Professor Lord Mensah, I should say, with the University of Ghana Business School. I'll take you back to Parliament, where the drama never ends. This afternoon, there were some fiery scenes on the floor of Parliament as Deputy Majority Whip Lydia Sarah Malasan fights Minority Chief Whip Governs Kwame Agboja, who had accused her of not voting for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in the NPP presidential primaries. At the start of the third day of debate of the 2024 budget in Parliament, Kwame Agboja argued that so many NPP MPs and their constituents voted against the vice president in their party primaries but are seeking to foist him on Ghanaians. But the whip fought the claim, insisting no one can prove that she voted against the vice president, even though he lost in her constituency. Listen to what transpired on the floor.
When you have a situation, the person who read the budget, you didn't want him to read the budget. The vice president who wanted to be your candidate, almost 40% of you rejected him. Yet you want him to be the one giving us the future. In fact, he lost in your constituency, Honorable Lydia. So what is your point? The vice president lost in your constituency. I don't even know what you're standing up to do. Did he not lose in your constituency? He lost. He lost even Honor Atenyo's constituency. You and him didn't vote for him. As a majority leader, he probably voted for him because he wanted to be running mate. But you didn't vote for him. You did not vote for him. So sit down, sit down. You can talk. You cannot talk. You sit down.
Please, majority leader is on his feet. Yes, please. I'm not involved in campaigning for running mate position. Mr. Speaker, it should be loud and clear. It should be loud and clear. And my colleague should also not involve himself in conjectures. He says, I probably voted for the vice president of my constituency. What has that got to do with the budget? Mr. Speaker, finally, let me draw my colleague's attention to the import of Order 93.3.
Well, so that's what transpired in Parliament earlier. It's a good time to take a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, and Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. Midday News proudly sponsored by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDP pipes and water tank. Where Duraplus goes, water flows. We return from the break with sports and then more politics, where the NDC General Secretary Fifi Kwete envisions a youthful candidate, potentially a woman from a swing region, as John Mahama's likely running mate.
You want to win as many women as possible, because once you have the women on your side, trust me, you are home. So you want to make sure you are appealing to women.
And then I'll take you to the Accra International Conference Center for the 14th edition of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair, kick-started with exciting offers and amazing experience.
We've had lots of clients coming in to see our properties at Alphabet City. So the Joy News Habitat Fair is a good program that I will say other real estate or other building industries should also get involved.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Prepare for an exhilarating experience at the main fair of the 2023 EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. Join us at the Accra International Conference Center from Thursday, November 23rd to Sunday, November 26th, 2023. Doors will be open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day to welcome you. This year, we are diving into the theme of home ownership, exploring the nuances between affordability, comfort, and luxury. Whether you're embarking on your home ownership journey or looking for upgrades, this fair is your destination for all things housing. Encounter a comprehensive assembly of stakeholders from Ghana's housing and construction sectors. Engage the experts across the spectrum of home creation and enhancement. The EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair is in partnership with EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and powered by the Planned City Extension Project from Cities and Habitats. Rent to own. And sponsored by Elegant Homes and General Constructions Limited, where quality meets value. Global Lighting, your solution to quality lighting. Syntex Tank, Air Strong, Air Tough. Springfield Estates, where dreams are built. Virtual Security, complete security solution. DBS, your roof experts. Virtual InfoSec Africa, security solutions by design. Saint Gobain, making the world a better plan. Clifton Homes, beautiful homes, wise investments. The Kissington Heights, Airport City, Kumasi, by HDG Homes Limited.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports.
Thank you very much, Emefa. Now, Ghana Premier League side Bofakatano have sacked head coach Frimpong Manson after 4 months at the helm. He leaves with his assistant Isaac Kofi Safo. Now, Bofaka led the Premier League table in their first 3 matches of the season, but fell off to the 6th position, having picked up only 1 win in 8 matches, ultimately leading to Manson's departure. He now becomes the second managerial casualty following the recent dismissal of Martin Koopman by Hearts of Oak 9 days ago. Back to you, Emefa.
Thank you very much. Let's do some more politics now. And the quest for a running mate for John Dramani Mahama is on. We've been hearing from him say that indeed a running mate will be chosen in 2024. Well, we've been hearing from the NDC's General Secretary Fifi Kwete on who the ideal candidates will be in an exclusive conversation with Joy SMS host Kujo Jackson.
So, for example, you want to win as many young people as possible because you can't win an election in Ghana unless you get a lot of the young people with you. You want to win as many women as possible because once you have the women on your side, trust me, you are hoping. So you want to make sure you are appealing to women. And naturally, you are appealing to women, you are appealing to the family.
You can't tell me who is in line or who is being considered, but you can at least tell me whether Prof. Jane Opoku-Agyeman should be replaced from a strategic point of view.
No, I mean, it's still, if I answer that, then I'm indirectly answering the question that you asked.
Really? Because there are still a number of people that might be.
If you do admit that, and I've spoken about her earlier, that she was somebody who was chosen because she's got pedigree.
Well, the full interview will be broadcast live at 10 p.m. on the Joy News channel tonight, also on all our social media platforms, and off to the camp of the NPP now. And they are likely to face an electoral sabotage from its own members. A sacked party stalwart Yabwa Biensamwa has reviewed their thousands of party executives currently working covertly in support for the candidacy of Alan Chemanting.
There are in the tens of thousands polling stations.
And they believe in the Alan cause.
Yes.
Executives.
And in the tens of thousands executives who at the right time will show up. And there are literally millions of the adherent group as well. The sympathizers who believe that Alan is the right guy to fit the job description that we are looking for.
But the NPP says although the claim cannot be proven, it will use the party structures to fish out the moles. Haruna Mohammed is Deputy General Secretary of the NPP.
This is something that is they're looking out for, but I don't think it can be proven. It's something that cannot be made emphatic that we know Mr. A or B or so. And for the point, our letter was not to warn people or to tell people that it was to send a signal that the party has laws. And much as we need people, we also need discipline. And what should follow off is the right of the constitution of the new patriotic party.
That's the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed. Remember that interview, exclusive interview with the General Secretary of the NPP, Fifi Kwete. We broadcast also live on the Pulse on the Joy News channel at 3 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Now, the United Kingdom's High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, has expressed worry that corruption is negatively affecting Ghana. Recent surveys from Transparency International and other anti-corruption groups indicate worrying levels of corruption with the country stagnating on the Corruption Perception Index. Well, this perception, Harriet Thompson says, must be dealt with. She's been speaking at the 75th birthday of the British monarch, King Charles III.
So we've been working with the Electoral Commission for a long time. We're also doing some work that we've started recently that's about helping people in the Ghanaian system to spot and then to tackle mis and disinformation, which sadly is something that we're seeing crop up in many elections around the world these days. We also work with civil society because they have such an important role to play in helping communities and people to hold their politicians to account. Politicians are there to serve us, and civil society has got a really important role to play in.
From the UK High Commissioner's residence, let me take you to the Accra International Conference Centre, where the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair has just kick-started. And we've been interacting with the head of marketing at Multimedia Group Limited, David Maxfuga. But before we hear from him, let me bring in my colleague Jacqueline and Smayebwa, our girl on the ground at this year's Habitat Fair. What am I missing so far, Jacqueline?
Well, Emefa, this is the 14th edition of the much anticipated EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair happening at the Accra International Conference Centre, where we have 100 exhibitors with sponsors inclusive, and the exhibitors here comprises of banking sector, housing, water purification, solar system, security system, and land litigation, and many more, as I said, 100. But I must say the venue is really packed with a lot of exhibitors waiting to serve customers through to Sunday.
Well, we can hear from the head of marketing at the multimedia group, David Maxfiger.
Yeah, I'm sure if what I'm saying is anything to go by, then my expectation is that this year is going to be the best since we started organizing Habitat Fair.
Why did you say so? You've had like 14, this is the 14th edition, so many other editions. Why would you say this year? What's making you so optimistic?
The crowd have started coming early. People have started selling already. The fair opened just about an hour ago, and people have started selling and making good business.
We are there all the way to Sunday. You can't miss it. We can hear from first-time vendors anticipating successful sales and positive engagement by the end of the fair.
I'm with Alphabet City, and they've been with EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair for 3 years, but this year they are on as a sponsor. Hello, sir. Can you tell me your name?
My name is Sian Safin.
Hey, Safin. Now, what informed your decision to be a sponsor this year? You've always been an exhibitor, but this year you're sponsoring. What is informing this decision?
Okay, so with reference to our previous programs on the Joy News Habitat Fair, we've had lots of clients coming in to see our properties at Alphabet City, located at Sakomono. So this time we saw it wise that why don't we, grow, that is, move from just exhibitors to become sponsors.
Basically, I would say that is a review from people who have already exhibited before. The feedback we had was very good, so we decided to try it this time and see what happens here for ourselves.
All right, now, what are your expectations? It's going to last for 4 days. Today's the first day. What are you expecting?
We are expecting that people will start coming around to see what we have to offer. We are doing renewable energy, solar to be precise. So we are expecting that people will come as the reviews we have heard. Actually, like I said, we are basing our being here based on the feedback from those who have been here already. And we expect that we'll also have a good feedback after this event and surely come back the next one.
Surely, that's a first-time exhibitors. Deng, you also heard earlier, Alphabet City. All the action is at the Accra International Conference Center, is the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. You definitely ought to make your way there. And there's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. And government pushing for law to ban import of Yimwadie rice, others without committee approval. And also OSP orders store to suspend proposed partnership deal with Tema Energy Limited. That and more on myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa, Apawu. Have a good afternoon.